presenting The Wave by LA Top Team.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode 6 of A Million Ways to Get It, the most interesting show in real estate. For those of you guys in California, you know the heat wave kind of came with a time change a couple weeks ago, so it has been a scorcher out here, and spring is definitely sprung or upon us, so to speak. So with the temperature, the market also heats up. Deals are definitely happening here in Southern California, and I'm looking to buy. So if you're selling, I'm buying. Side note, I don't want to take too much time talking about it, but if you have any deals that are good investments, send them my way. deals@millionwayspodcast.com. Last week, it was great to catch up with the 3 owners of Allegiant Gym in Redondo Beach. That's Tim Karen, Cody Romness, and Steve Blackheart. I was really excited to catch up with those guys. I've known them for a number of years, and it was great to be in their facility. I'm sure you can kind of hear my excitement. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode and were able to pull some insightful nuggets out of it. Although those guys aren't real estate professionals, so to speak, they are super positive, super professional guys. So I hope that you were able to at least pull something out of that interview. All 3 of those guys are super successful, and all 3 of them walked away to do something great. That's something that kind of stuck with me about the interview with them was before they decided to undertake this project, they all had been successful in their own right. All 3 of these guys had the opportunity to get in business with each other and put their trust in one another, and it's been working out so far. So that's something that really stuck out to me, was that although they've been successful in their own right, they stepped away from it to try and hope that they could be part of something better and bigger and greater. I think we learn, no matter how it pays off, not only from this lesson, but many lessons, no matter how it pays off, the gamble on yourself is always going to be a good thing, because you're going to walk away with 0 regrets, and you're going to have nobody to blame, and nobody's going to be telling you what to do. So from these 3 guys, I learned if it itches, scratch it. That's any itch, including the itch to do your own thing. More importantly, I want to hear what you guys all thought of the episode. If you've got any feedback for us, go ahead and send us an email, info@millionwayspodcast.com, or you can just comment on the appropriate social media post regarding this episode. We really appreciate all the interaction we've been getting over the past few weeks. It's really helped us dial down the content and the structure of the show. We really feel like we're getting our rhythm, so thanks a lot, guys. This week's Tools of the Titans is Dasheroo. Dasheroo is an amazing analytics dashboard that allows you to basically gather any sort of user analytics that you might need for your business. It connects with a bunch of apps that you probably already use, including Google AdWords, Google Analytics, Instagram, Facebook Pages, Facebook Ads. The list goes on. It comes with a few pre-made dashboards, but it also allows you to create your own custom dashboards, which allow you to track any sort of analytic that you might need for your business. It is free for just a couple of insights. Insights are analytic sets that you get from one of the connected apps. You get for free, and I think there's packages moving up from there. I've got the most basic package, which is either $9 or $15 a month. It's definitely useful, because I've set up a bunch of dashboards with a bunch of different insights, and I use it every single day to help see the metrics of the podcast, see the metrics of social media for my multiple businesses, and also track some of the AdWords campaigns that I'm doing. So if you guys do any of that stuff and track some of your data, I would definitely suggest checking out Dasheroo, like kangaroo with dash in the front. The winner of the 5-week-long contest is going to be announced this week on Instagram, this Friday. 2 days from the debut of this podcast, make sure that you guys are following on Instagram to see who won the audio recording equipment. That is the microphone and the mixer. Close to $200 worth of gear. We've had a bunch of submissions, so keep submitting. Go to our website, fill out the pop-up, and you're going to get instructions on what to do to get yourself entered in winning the contest. So we have 2 more days till the drawing if you're listening to this the day it came out. So hurry by our website, fill out the pop-up information if it comes. If not, you missed the contest, sorry to say. Also, while you're at our website, make sure you check out all of the different content that we've got up. We do our best, we as a team do our best to put up content every week that's well-rounded for you guys and also accessible on multiple different mediums. If you go to our website, you'll be able to find show segments, full show episodes, videos, and even some news. So go ahead and stop by our website, leave us some feedback. Interact with us there. And if you make it in time, make sure you enter for a chance to win our audio production equipment giveaway. If there's any other questions you have, you can always drop us an email, info@millionwayspodcast.com. So for this week's interview, I actually forgot to press record. I've heard of this phenomenon on a few other podcasts, and I didn't understand how it could possibly be a thing. I'm thinking, how could you forget to press record? But it's pretty easy. You got a lot of things going on. You know, you could be in a mobile location and you realize that you're not recording. You look down at your recording software and you don't see the sound bars. You don't see anything, and you start to freak out. That kind of happened to me on this episode. Luckily, it was only about 5 minutes in, so I was able to salvage it. I didn't say anything to the guest at all, so him hearing this is going to be the first of him hearing that I forgot to press record for the first 5 minutes. Luckily, we had a little bit of technical difficulty going back and forth with each other during that time, so a lot of it was, hello, are you there, which was going to be edited out anyway. Speaking of edited out, I want to give one quick shout out before we jump into the guest interview to our audio producer. His name's Anthony, and his website is soundsforfilm.com. That's plural. SOUNDS for film.com. He has been a part of every episode that we've put out so far, and he helps take the raw audio and really turn it into a complete show. He's responsible for helping make me forgetting to press record go so smoothly, so special shout out to Anthony real quick. Check him out, check his website out, and make sure you let him know that you heard about him on the podcast. This week's expert interview is Andrew Sinasohn. If you're a follower of the show, you may have seen that we featured him as our Realtor of the Week in week 2. For those of you that didn't, a little bit of background on Andrew is he's a commercial tenant rep in Silicone Beach in the west side of Los Angeles, or all of Los Angeles, as you'll hear later in the interview. And I chose him because he's a straight up influencer, and I wanted to make sure basically that I beat Forbes magazine to the punch in asking for an interview. I know him back from college. He and I went to USC together, and we have been able to keep in touch since then. So it was great to get him on the show, talk a little business, talk a little bit more personal even, catch up on what he's been doing recently. I did catch him in a little bit of a transition, so we only got to jump on for 45 minutes, and I kept him 10 minutes longer than I should have. So I still didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked talking to him. So I might get him back on the show for a second episode. And also I want to hear if you guys want to have him back on the show for a second episode. So take a listen. You're going to pull all kinds of useful information out of this. This is a super entertaining episode. Really touches on how Andrew's been able to make a splash in commercial real estate. He's only been involved 3.5 years, and he's really been able to pioneer an awesome life, blending his personal life and his work life kind of into one awesome lifestyle that allows him to live in both worlds at one time. Don't be surprised in the next couple years to see him on a TV show or featured on some top real estate performer or influencer lists that come out yearly. You might even catch him on Forbes 30 under 30 list in the next couple of years. Well, without any further hype, here is my short little chat with Andrew.
Are you there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I lost you.
No worries.
But like I was saying, not everybody has a chance to, experience it from the belly of the beast. And a lot of people don't even understand where the borders of Silicone Beach actually are. So why don't you just give a quick explanation of the physical geographic borders of Silicone Beach?
Yeah. So, Silicon Beach is a widely used term. It's very much, it's kind of started in Venice and Santa Monica, where you saw companies like Snapchat and, Yahoo, and, actually way before Snapchat, but Yahoo, Google, all the big giants where they first established. It's really grown into, the LA tech ecosystem as a whole. You've got so many different parts of LA, and they're all so different. And, you've got a lot of the media tech out in, Miracle Mile. You've got, or downtown, you've got a lot of the apps and the tech, down in Venice and Santa Monica. And, you've got the, a lot of like the real estate tech and, financial fintech, financial services. They're more in more professional areas, call it Century City, Beverly Hills. But it's really grown to an ecosystem and not just a small geographic region. You've got one area that's been extremely interesting is Culver City is Culver City is just a little bit east of Marina del Rey. And Culver City is great because you have an opportunity in Culver City to, be around a lot of other like-minded startups, a lot of smaller, well, not necessarily so small because they've got companies like Apple and Fullscreen and, all those companies that are a lot larger, but you have the ability to rent smaller creative office warehouses there and be around a lot of other like-minded companies and foster growth and communication through that.
So, okay. So basically, Silicone Beach started in Venice, Santa Monica, but based on sort of technology, let's call it niche that you're in, you spread out throughout the city and, like you said, is a living ecosystem throughout the city.
And it's a term that's thrown around, and there's not, you couldn't go on Google and type in Silicon Beach and find a polygon. It's just a broad term that's being used to throw around to essentially label Los Angeles tech.
Interesting.
And media and of the like.
So it's not a beach, guys. It basically encompasses all of Los Angeles tech and the companies that have come here to capitalize on all of the benefits of Los Angeles.
Depending on who you ask, yes. And I would firmly state that what you just said is how it's done. But, you always have people who are sticklers as to certain boundaries and what's what. And to me, I'm a little more liberal than that. And let's just call it the Silicon Beach is the tech ecosystem here in Los Angeles.
I really like the way that was put. It helped me understand it a lot. Tell me a little bit about your team. Let the listeners know what team you're part of, what you guys do, where you're based out of, and your expertise.
So my team, we are called Zacuto Group. We are led by Jake Zacuto, who has been in this industry for about 15 years. And Jake is a tenant rep and investment sales specialist by trade. That's what he started doing. He has since branched out into other things, but that still remains his core. Jake and I have been working together now for about 3.5 years. We specialize in working with companies around Los Angeles. And also we have a few clients that have offices throughout the United States, and we help manage those relationships and essentially serve as an outsourced commercial real estate team for those companies. But, our core business and my core business is here in Los Angeles. I really love what I do. Every day I wake up and I'm so excited to get on my phone and my email because, at any given time, I'm working with 17 to 18 different companies who need to either lease or buy office space. Every single one of these companies is different. They all have different business models. They all have different needs. And through that, it forces me to have to learn their industry and know what they need and understand what's best for them. There's just a lot of commercial real estate brokers that work for landlords only. And, those brokers, they do a great job at what they do, but their core business is being fiduciarily responsible to owners of buildings and filling those buildings in which they work for. My difference is that I find a company, I find out what they need, and then I'm able to locate everything and anything that can work for them and then take them to those opportunities and, make the dream a reality. So, I don't ever feel like a salesman where I'm trying to sell anything, and nor do I ever want to. I tell all my clients that, the only sales that I'll ever do is just to get into the door. And once we're at that first meeting, the sales stop there. I obviously have to, pursue, founders of companies that, are very sought after, and people are trying to contact them all day long with opportunities. But so it takes hustle to get into the front door. But once I get into the front door, I'm on their team, and mission comes last. And it's about finding what works for them and making it work for them. And then I make out at the end.
Nice. So you get to experience a lot of different industries through the companies that you get to work with. And also you get to kind of go to bat for your company. So instead of selling somebody constantly, you're basically a teammate, like a high powered teammate. So it gives you a different aspect of real estate.
That's exactly what I am. That's exactly what I am. I'm not, I'm not selling their team. I'm a part of their team. I become an outsourced commercial real estate broker on their team. And, even after the deal is done, I'm still there. And if anything goes wrong, I'm their first contact. I'll make sure that whether the light bulb needs to be fixed or whether they need to, expand or sublease their current space, I'm that first call.
That's right. Interesting, because a lot of people are so worried about, representing owners and landlords, like you said. So the tenant rep side, it's interesting to hear that it's more team oriented. You step up and you get to represent a team and be a part of that business. And especially in the industry that you're in, there's probably some businesses that's advantageous. It's fun. It's you get to help them. You get to help them grow and be a part of the growth. So I could see how that could be very, very fun.
Right, and it's not selfish. It's let's find out what the best decision is for you guys, and then let's pursue it. For example, today I had a client that I've been working with. I've put hours and hours into this requirement. I can't, release the name, but it's a company it's an app that you and I use almost daily. We've been working on their office, and they had some changes in their operations up in San Francisco. I got a call today, mid-negotiation, saying, we need to halt the new office space. We're making a couple changes internally. We commence from there. So I've become a part of the team. I told them after this, look, no worries. You call me when you're ready. There's no pressure on my end. These companies don't like to be pressured, and if they feel pressured, they're going to use someone else. So it's all about creating a relationship that's built on trust and honesty and doing the right thing and making it happen and doing the right thing in the shortest amount of time, because time kills deals, and no one wants that.
Right. And I should mention what's in my eyes is so commendable is this is going to tie into the history of Zacuto Group. Is it's not like you're relying on the biggest commercial real estate name out there. Zacuto Group is pretty new, and you guys kind of started with a splash. So everything that you guys have was built off of actual real hard labor and work. It's not off of a name. So I think that's, something that I find super commendable. And one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the show,
thank you,
was because you were able to take that leap. And not only that, you've been able to make a serious splash in the last, 6 months, right? 6 months is how long the team's been around?
6 to 8 months. And I appreciate your comments. Thank you very much for that.
Of course.
So there's a lot of larger firms out there. You've got CBRE, JLL, the list goes on. Those have always been the leaders. They work with some of the largest companies in the world and do a lot of what I do. Those companies are great companies, and I have a lot of friends who work with them. All of my deals that I'm doing right now, with the exception of 2 or 3, are with those guys. They're on the landlord side, and I'm bringing them my tenants. So, we all need to work together. It's very important. Reputation is everything in this industry. If you do something shady, or if you put yourself first to try and get a commission, you might make your money there, but good luck down the road. That might be the only one you make, and, that's not how I want to live my life. So great guys and girls over at the bigger firms, but, we have something a little different, a little more boutique. I'm going to speak only for ourselves. We put a lot of time and effort into our requirements, and these are requirements that a lot of the larger companies would overlook at first. I've had companies of 4 or 5 people that I met with who had national relationships with larger firms, and I met with them. I gave them service that they should have received in the first place, which they didn't from some of the larger firms, and they canceled their contracts. I cannot speak of them, but aforementioned businesses, and I showed them customer service. Those companies of less than 10 people when I met them are over 100 to 200, one of them even over 1,000 people right now. So like I said, relationships is everything. Treat everyone well from the beginning. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of requirements that I get that I pass on because I don't personally believe in the business model, and I don't see them as growing to a level that, it's a thing where in our business, time is money. It's commission. So I'm not getting a salary every year. So whatever I choose to work on, I need to know that there's a good chance that I'm going to get paid on it. And if not, on the first deal, on the second deal. It's an investment thing from my time perspective. And as you get more mature in the business, you can be more selective. But like I said, I always, even in a case where a company, I don't, think that they're the right fit for me, I will still do everything that it takes to introduce them to someone who can help them, and give them the best guidance for their business and not just not just shove them off.
Right. And I think that's a great transition, kind of back into personal, because through that little bit of selectiveness that you've earned through hard work and saying, you know what, I think this is a great opportunity for both of us, or I think somebody I know might be able to help you better than me. I think through that earned selectivity, you've been able to kind of tie your business life into your personal life, right?
Totally. It's my business life and my personal life go hand in hand. I'm a very social person. I thrive off of energy from other people. There's nothing that makes me happier than working with someone and, getting something done for them and us all being happy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And, it allows me to really take my business life and do fun things with clients all the time. I mean, for instance, we can segue into this weekend and the reason why I don't have a voice right now. But so I spent this last weekend at the South by Southwest conference in Austin, Texas. The conference, the music and the film and all that actually begins today and tomorrow, I believe. However, I was there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just for the technology and venture capital events. So it was extremely interesting. I went out there with a big group of colleagues that are, like I said, my work and my personal are very intertwined. So, you can call them clients, you can call them friends, you can call them, guys I graduated with. But
If you told everybody who they were, everybody would call them influencers. So we'll say influencers.
So influencers, and I mean, what we did is, I stayed in a house with 20 other extremely talented professionals. Most of them are founders of their own startups. A couple of them venture capitalists. A couple of them musicians. A yoga instructor. I mean, people who have really taken their their life into their own hands and not taken the corporate corporate route. And there's nothing wrong with the corporate route. I have a lot of respect for those people. That just wasn't this group.
Right. It's all people who kind of put their money where their mouth is.
And if things don't work out, they take responsibility for it, and they're out there trying to change the world because they think that they're ideas that are valuable. So we stayed in a house. There was 20 of us in this house, and it was a large mansion in Austin, Texas. We went to events throughout the city, the entire city. They had the conference, obviously, at the convention center, and that's kind of where you can walk around and see all the different showcases that companies are putting out. What we were doing is going to private events all throughout the city, starting at about 9 a.m. every day after our yoga session led by our in-house yoga instructor. We went to all these events, from brunch to cocktail receptions to this to that, networking with people that were also in venture capital and technology all throughout Austin in these great venues. So, it wasn't necessarily the South by Southwest conference we were going to, but it was more of, private events that were circled around that to take advantage of the people who were there during that time. I mean, Google sponsored a small event. A few of the venture capital firms here in LA sponsored a couple events. Pinterest, they had a bunch of events. Spotify, TechCrunch. So, through all of these different activities and, exclusive events, I was able to meet so many other like-minded professionals from New York, from San Francisco, from Chicago, you name it. Because at the end of the day, what's so important in our industry is, not only just supporting the Silicon Beach ecosystem like we were talking about earlier, but working with the leaders in Silicon Valley and in New York and in Austin and in all these other incredible cities to make the world and to make the U.S. a better place. The companies that are in New York are going to need to expand at some point to Los Angeles and vice versa. And, the world goes full circle. So just, being immersed in this world over the last 2 days was freaking exhausting, but so worth it. And I couldn't speak any higher of the experience. I mean, it was raining most of the time, and I can't even tell you that even put a damper on it. And I don't typically enjoy the rain.
I think what's most commendable is it kind of all comes back to opportunity for me, is you've been able to network and create these opportunities. It's not like these things come up out of nowhere. And you've done that through, intertwining
Correct.
also other influencers into your life, and like we spoke about, tying in your business life and personal life, and all of it has created more opportunity. And in your lives, business and personal, are so in line that an opportunity in one is an opportunity in the other, and vice versa. So super commendable that you've been able to do that and basically kill two birds with one stone while just living life.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's like I said, there's really nothing that, makes me happier.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was a very, very positive experience. It was a lot of people who wanted to meet each other because of, the guest lists were pretty strict. So everyone there, knew that, other people that were there were people that, it would be worthwhile for them to get to know. And, very few of us do the same thing. So we all have a lot of different perspectives. And, when you get people on cross-cultural teams providing insight and doing it in a way that's not forced, having drinks, having a good time, and, letting the ideas flow, there's really nothing that can't be done from that.
So that picture that we just painted, both of us, we just painted in the last 5 minutes, mostly you. Is that basically what motivated you to get into real estate? Is that why you said, if all goes well, I could basically manufacture a life where I could have more fun and do more business than I ever thought imaginable? So the picture that we painted, is that the reason that you got into real estate?
It really isn't how I got into it. I'll give you a brief story. I was a finance and accounting major at USC, and I went and worked in accounting after university with one of the, quote unquote, big four accounting firms. While I was there, I kind of looked around and looked at the people 5, 10, 12 years ahead of me. And, I have a lot of respect for those people, but what they were doing wasn't what interested me. And it was at this point where I decided that I was going to do a 3-month part-time practice. And in that time, I was able to just do a ton of research, and instead of just reading about different industries online, I actually set up a total of 49 interviews in Los Angeles, and I still have the Excel spreadsheet. And it ranged everything from, being a talent agent at one of the large shops, William Morris, CAA, ICM, to sales training jobs, to wealth management and finance, to real estate. And by meeting the professionals in these industries at the interviews, it became very transparent to me that real estate was an industry where I just hit it off with the people. Not only did I hit it off with the people, but I found the work extremely interesting. It's tangible. I drive around daily, and I'm reminded by things that I need to do. I get to go into these amazing office spaces and see a smile on the CEO's face that, we did it. I get to work with some of the most talented and incredible people that I would never have even gotten to meet otherwise. As the real estate decision is made by usually the CEO at the final sign off. And so here I am at 26 years old, sitting in boardrooms with, people that are a lot older than I, and a lot more experienced in their field, and they're sitting there trusting me with their real estate decision. And to me, that's special, and it's what I love to do. It's what I'll always do. I'm involved now in a couple development projects where I won't necessarily just be doing the brokerage, but I will also be involved in the asset itself and the decisions that are made. So it's really allowed me to intertwine what I do with my personal life, have fun with it, be a thought leader in the community. Like I said, I've only been doing it for 3.5 years, but I've gotten a ton of experience. Jake and I did 132 leases just last year, and then another, I think it was 55 million in sales on our group. And that's more than a lot of people do in many, many, many years. So we've seen a lot. We've been experienced to a lot. We learn daily and adapt. But at the end of the day, I found real estate through networking and through trying to figure out my passion. I took time, I was patient, and I nailed it on the head. And I couldn't be happier.
Out of all those things that you mentioned, what is it that you would say that continues to motivate you to excel in real estate? Was it the relationships? Is it the feeling you get when you help a business find a new home? Is it the opportunity to manufacture your own lifestyle? Out of all that, what is it that motivates you to continue to excel, not just get started?
Well, the hardest part is getting started. This business has a very, large reputation of people trying it out and not making it more than a year. It's not easy to get started. You are trying to gain respect from people who have been in a CEO, CFO, COO position for years, and you're a young guy or a girl trying to tell them what to do and work with them, and that's not easy. For me, the most exciting thing is the relationships that are formed, and with every relationship that's formed, with every deal that I do, I'm meeting new people and I'm being introduced to new people who are in the same space who also need commercial real estate spaces on their end, and it's just a never-ending cycle. If you do a good job, if you act with integrity, if you do the right thing, and if you have fun with it, you will be referred to other businesses. And the more you do, the more opportunities you will have. Another thing that I do is with all these deals that we're doing, I'm always extremely respectful to the other side. If we're going to pass on a deal, I'm always going to call that broker and let him know, to stop wasting his time and they need to move on. And by being respectful to the other brokers, and by doing the right thing, gain a lot of respect in the community. And I've worked extremely hard to attain that, but it's invaluable. And you need cooperation with these other people to get deals done, because they're the ones who are trying to push it through on the landlord side and try and get you what you want. So it's extremely important to, obviously work your ass off and fight for your client, but do it in a way where you're going to have integrity and you're going to gain respect from your peers in the industry, because you run into them almost daily.
Right. And that's a delicate line, leaving a good taste in people's mouths while still keeping your client happy.
Correct.
Do you see yourself still being involved? I mean, you said the referral network can go on forever, so I guess that answers the question, but I may as well ask it. Do you see yourself involved in commercial real estate in 3 years?
I see myself involved in commercial real estate for the rest of my life. And my family will be involved in commercial real estate, because I hope to leave them, with buildings and with an empire that, continuously grows even as I'm no longer here.
I like it. Far longer than 3 years is the plan. What do you think is going to happen with the Silicon Beach kind of market? Do you think it's going to boil over? Do you think it's going to continue to grow, where the ecosystem is just going to continue to grow limbs and arms and everything? Or do you think it's going to kind of top out?
I do not see it topping out. I see more companies moving out here on a daily basis. I'm working with a number of companies that are establishing Los Angeles presences, from London, from New York, from San Francisco. It's not going anywhere, in my opinion. They just came out in the news that 2016 was the best year in the last decade for commercial real estate. Don't get me wrong, rents will fluctuate, prices will drop, everything goes through cycles, but we're in Los Angeles and people want to be in Los Angeles. When shit hits the fan, for lack of better word, people will still want to be here. They'll find other opportunities, and maybe there's certain industries that may not be around forever, and maybe the venture money will hold back a little bit. Interest rates are rising, but all in all, technology in Los Angeles isn't going anywhere. You've got, I look at all of my friends and coworkers that in the industry and not in the industry, who are graduating from top universities, and many of them are refusing to go work for corporate giants, and they're all going and working for smaller companies where they have an ability to impact something larger than what they could at a large corporate company. So as long as people keep doing that, as long as people keep working together and doing the right thing, companies are going to form out of great ideas, and Los Angeles will always be an attractive place for them to come.
Right. The desire to be here will never change.
That is correct.
Yeah, the ball's going to keep rolling, and the upward trend continues. I agree with you there, especially the way tech's moving. Yeah, tech's not going to move backwards. I mean, no one's going to say fuck the internet,
That is correct.
We're getting towards the end. I know you got to kind of cut out here, so give some parting words for these entrepreneurs who are trying to do their own thing in real estate or any other market.
Yeah, so my advice to all the entrepreneurs out there is continue to be creative, continue to surround yourself with creative, smart, and hardworking people act with integrity. Don't act too fast. Don't grow too quickly. Really think about your decisions before you make them. And you're never too big. You can always look up to mentors. You can always seek guidance. And there's always someone who's been there and has made a mistake. I would be more than happy to teach you how to evade that in the future. So keep on creating, keep on working together, keep on making shit happen. And when you need an office space, you know who to call.
And with that, I'm going to make sure that you guys can get Andrew's contact information in the show notes, and I will be posting all of his stuff multiple times the week his episode comes out and this is airing. Andrew, thank you so much for the time, brother. I know you got to run. Go ahead and take off, and I'll say goodbye to the folks.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to answering any questions or comments that come my way.
Great, man. I'll put your direct contact information in the show notes, and I'll make sure everybody who's listening has a way to get in contact with you. Thanks again, Andrew, and have a great evening, man.
Thank you, Ron.
The Realtor of the Week this week is Jamie Tian. We chose her because it's pretty evident her use of cutting-edge technology makes her super accessible to all of her clients, which is extremely important in real estate. We also chose her because of her presence on the international real estate scene and because of her consistent social media content. She's a UCLA graduate, just like the founder of her brokerage, Rodeo Realty. His name's Sid Leibovich, and ironically, he was one of the people that influenced me most to get into real estate back in 2010. Congrats, Jamie. Keep working hard out there. We see you. This week, we are going without a title tip this week. Make sure that you guys operate within legality and stay safe out there. A lot of people are looking to do shady business. There's been a lot of fraud going on. So make sure that you dot your I's, cross your T's, and stay safe while operating, whether it's you or your clients. That pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. If you guys have any feedback for us, you can always reach us directly with an email, info@millionwayspodcast.com. The best place to find all of our content is our website, millionwayspodcast.com. Basically, everything that we put out is up there. Just poke around. It's easy to get around the website, and it's easy to get in contact with us from there if need be. Want to say thanks again to my audio producer, Anthony, to my show assistant, Brian. You guys have been awesome. Really appreciate you guys. And that wraps up episode 6. You guys take care. Tuck your kids in. Kiss your parents. It's a crazy world. Till next time.